My name is Phyllis Ershowsky, and I am calling in from Florence, Vermont.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Herstory TV and the Herstory podcast. This is Gertrude Macha here in beautiful Wellington, New Zealand, and I'm graced with the presence of yet another fascinating creative woman coming to us all the way from the United States. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our platform and welcome to the tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are. Share your story with us today.
I will. First of all, I am so thrilled to be here. I have not had much opportunity to be in an international forum, so this is very exciting for me and very new. My name is Phyllis Ershowsky, and I am calling in from Florence, Vermont, where we have lived for just 1 year. We moved here from Florida and we're originally from New York. So it's the third place that I've lived in my life. And we've had a very exciting year of learning how to live on a little farm and doing some new things and basically changing a lot of the way we live. So I'm here today to share things about my career, but also one of the new things in my life is that I recently became a children's author, and I published my first book, and it just came out at the end of last summer. And due to the pandemic, most of the talking that I've done about the book has been online, but the story that I want to share with you today is really kind of how the book came about. I'll show you what it looks like. It's Emily and Lucy to the Rescue. And this story came about in kind of an interesting way. For all of my life, I've been health conscious, trying to eat healthily. I've run marathons. I've been inspired by my family and my children. We've run together. We do camping. We've done a lot of outdoor activity. And I've always enjoyed kind of a good, healthy outdoor lifestyle. And about 2 years ago, I unexpectedly was diagnosed with a serious illness, and it just kind of came out of the blue. I went for some routine testing and was immediately transferred to an emergency room, and for the next several days was undergoing medical diagnosis to figure out what this was and where it was coming from. So during this period, my family, who's so supportive and who I just love so much, they kind of rallied around me and gave me their support. And my daughter was immediately, putting her life on hold and came to be with me and went to meet with me to all the appointments and to my first treatments when they did, find out my diagnosis. And it was just so, it just filled my heart and was really just touching to me. And I was having many dreams, very vivid dreams during this time. And one of them was I was dreaming about Emily as a child, even though she is now an adult. And her dog, Lucy, who she didn't have until she was an adult, but in my dreams, she was a child with Lucy. And through love and compassion and kindness and just being so connected to me in the story and in my dream, she is able to help get through a very, very challenging time. So it occurred to me when I woke up that there must be many children all over the world who have, illness in their family, sickness, sick loved ones, or other challenges that they're facing. And they feel scared and a little bit lost and kind of helpless. So I wanted to reassure children that they can be the hero of their own story and be empowered to help through just like simple things. You can encourage, taking a walk outside or going for a swim or reading a book together or, watching your favorite movie or eating ice cream, whatever it might be. Just that being together and everything really could help the way that Emily and Lucy helped me through that time. So it kind of came together in that way. And I contacted a publisher that I knew through my public relations work, and they were excited about the book. They felt that there wasn't anything really like it. And so I started putting it down on paper, and I was connected through the publishing company to this wonderful illustrator. She's from Italy. Her name is Chiara Savarese, and she's very, very talented. And she really got it. She understood the story when I sent it to her, and just all of a sudden, Emily and Lucy to the Rescue came to life and really just delighted me. And hopefully it will help others. So that's the story of the book, and that's how Emily and Lucy to the Rescue came to be. I cannot leave out the fact that I have another child. His name is Michael, and he also, as soon as Emily had returned home, he surprised me at my door one day, and also, was there in great support. So there will be a sequel, and at least 2, and maybe even 3 books, so that the series is dedicated to helping children going through difficult times.
What a fascinating story.
Thank you.
It's amazing what happens when we go through major life challenges, especially health-wise.
Yes.
I'm recovering from heart failure. So I went through a separation, divorce, ended up on my back in a rice field in Indonesia, in Bali. Almost died. But for me, it was a slap in the face to wake up to life again. I wasn't in a very good place psychologically, but just that little brush with death really brought me back. And I think I'm the fullest expression of myself like I have never been before.
So something good came out of it.
Something good came out of it, yes. Now, you've just touched on how this book is going to help a lot of children cope with illness at this moment in time. The pandemic that we're all experiencing globally is brushing on all of us. I don't think there's anybody who's going to come out of this experience unscathed in some way. If there was a little child right now whose mom is ill or dad is ill, what would you say to them? What 3 little nuggets of wisdom would you tell that child in this very moment?
I would want the child to know that it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to be scared and not to know what happens next, but to know that you are loved and that you can love, and that will help see you through and face the challenge. So,
and yeah, we are going through an interesting time. Let's just put it that way. And I really love the fact that you're incorporating your children in this series of books.
yes.
This is now a series of books.
They are the inspiration.
They're the inspiration for the book. So tell us a little bit about your kids.
They're my heart. Probably, the best thing I've ever done in my life. And it is so nice to see that these, lovely little children grew up to be kind and helpful and responsible adults. So I've enjoyed every stage. I know, I think with working full time as a mother, you treasure the time that you do have with your children when you're with them. So I really appreciated the whole evolution of them, coming from child, to adulthood. So my son is a lawyer, and he has his own practice, and he has a lovely, wonderful family. And so I get the joy of also being a grandmother now.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So that's a lovely development. And then my amazing daughter, Emily, she lives in Denver, and she is a brand marketing specialist. She does a lot of things with event planning and really very organizational. She's very take charge. She has, and she is a great companion for me. We love to travel together and run together. And she's just, and both my children are just an amazing part of my life.
Oh, how awesome. That's just fantastic. Now, as a mother, a working mother, that work-life balance, if there's another young woman who's listening to us right now, how did you do it? How did you juggle it? We're constantly juggling so many balls.
I know.
How did you find that balance? What I used to do with my kids is I used to have appointments with them. They had a day in the week that was dedicated to each of them. I had to kind of separate it out so they really felt like I was present and there. Even if it was just an hour, I would do something individual with each of my kids. How did you do it?
So I've watched this happen, and it isn't that much better now than it was, back then. You still have that challenge of having to juggle it. I don't think it has gotten so much easier. So I've gone through, I think, every type of childcare arrangement you can have. At first, we had somebody living in our house for a while, and I was able to, go to work full time. Then we had people that would, come in the day for a few hours. I had my children go to preschool programs and after school programs. And I am lucky to have a partner and a husband who also, was helping me in, the picking up and the dropping off and the going to games and concerts and those kind of things. So we did make weekends our time. We almost always had dinner together. So we made,
Nice.
that togetherness time. But summer vacation would roll around, and again, it would be a challenge of, going to camp, running here and there. It was never easy. It always seemed to be piecing it together. And
Yeah.
I think until you have like more programs, like maybe, in corporations where they have, daycare in-house or some better childcare arrangements, I think there's a lot of room for improvement.
Right.
Still.
Now, you know that the Herstory platform is all about women's empowerment. We uplift each other, we share ideas. I know that part of where you're going with your career right now, based on our little conversation before we started the interview, is that you now want to be able to impart your knowledge, your skills to other women. Let's talk a little bit about that and the importance of us doing that.
So I think it's so important. And I spent so many years, trying to grow my business, work in my business, be the best that I could and have continuous improvement in what I do. And then a few years ago, I had the opportunity to be an adjunct professor in their public relations and communications department. And when I was working with the students, I just found that incredibly fulfilling. They were so interested. I was surprised at their interest in my work, not so much what was in the textbook, but, tell us about that event that you planned for the client, and what was that news story that you worked on, and how did you write that and make that connection and all of that. And they just really wanted to hear about the work that I had done and what had happened in my career and the relationships that I had. And I just really liked sharing that with them. So since that time, I've also in my work been able to work with other college students as interns. And I am very hopeful for the next generation. I mean, they are just inquisitive and enthusiastic, and they want to know more.
Yeah.
And I've had all these experiences from, corporate to an independent business of my own to the teaching experience. And I want to pass that along. I feel like I've built up this body of knowledge, and then what do you do with it? You can pass it on and try to help somebody else grow.
So you're going to be starting a mentoring, coaching program.
So yes, I'm going to continue to work with interns, and I'm going to encourage, even after they graduate, to use me as a source and a resource. And I have young, nieces and nephews who are college age, and I feel like they've also, asked me for help with, their resumes and things like that, just because I have the experience and I'm available to them, and I want to make myself available to that.
That is awesome. So let's end our interview with 2 questions. If time was an illusion and your past, your present, your future existed in the same timeline, and we could teleport you back to the younger you, that young woman who is going into her career, based on what life has taught you, what 3 nuggets of wisdom would you give that young woman who's got kids and is trying to create a career?
What a great question. So the first thing I would say is, don't let being nervous hold you back. It's sometimes we get so caught up in what's going to happen and not knowing what to expect that we are almost paralyzed and not able to move forward. And I can think of times, as going into my career is like, getting a little bit of a false start, or, something happening or making a mistake where it totally can really freak you out, So I think trying to get over that, if you could, I don't know if that comes with experience, but if I could go back and tell myself at a younger age to just kind of deal with it and calm down. Second, to be open. New opportunities are out there everywhere. You never know where the road might take you.
Yeah.
just to kind of entertain and think about, what could have been, what you could do. There might be things beyond,
Yeah.
what you expect. And let me think what the third one could be. As a mother and as a parent, just really try to enjoy every minute. It's so cliche to say that it comes so fast and you're going to miss it, but it's the reason it's a cliche.
True.
It's true, right?
I feel like I blinked and my kids grew up. I'm like, where are my babies? Who are these people?
I know, and they were so cute, and I just, I tried to enjoy them and not think that, getting night was so horrible and all of that, and I just wanted to treasure every moment. But I don't know, I think when you're in it, that's not easy to do. So I would go back and tell myself, like, just really enjoy it, just embrace it.
I love it.
So
Thank you so much for this interview. It has been absolutely amazing meeting you. Good luck with the book. I know that there are a lot of people who are looking for this kind of content right now. And I'm hoping that through our platform, we can spread your voice and your story across the world as well. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. I told you we are meeting some of the most phenomenal women on the planet. I am just so juiced up and excited with what's coming. Tune in again tomorrow. I'll be speaking to yet another amazing woman from a different part of the world. This is Gertrude Mache on the Herstory TV and the Herstory podcast. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. Bye for now. And thank you again, Phyllis.
thank you so much for having me.